Good morning, guys. Welcome back. And this is the story of a champion. So today we are going to deal with. Today we have two best guys on the show. These are the sponsors of the Kenya Strongest Man competition. Straight away, they're going to introduce. Then we go to our object today. So we'll start with on my left. Then you go on my right.
All right. Thanks so much, Yuha, for having us. I'm James Mbuga from Kenya Strongest Man competition. It's such a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yuha, for having us on the show. My name is Kevin Mashero from Kenya Strongest Man competition. Thank you.
Okay, straight away we move to the main topics today. First of all, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. And recently, I think just 5 years ago, there's an interview on NTV, and you said you run, is it a company that deals with talent search? So how far is it with the company in relation to the Kenya Strongest Man competitions?
All right, so I run the Stealth Mark Africa. Stealth Mark Africa is a sports marketing company. So with Stealth Mark, we promote sports. We see sports as a tool to empower the community and to tell our story as Kenyans, and also to tell the story of Africa through sports. So that's what we do as Stealth Mark Africa. And under Stealth Mark, we birthed Kenya Strongest Man competition. And this came out because both Kevin and I have a background, having interacted with the lifting community before. We realized that there was a gap in the space where anyone who lifts was either expected to go and flex as a bodybuilder, but the question was, where do these other guys go? Like the guy who maybe anafinyanga vizuri kwa deadlift ama presses. And out of that, we birthed the idea to create this platform, Kenya Strongest Man. So that was 2015. We had a run 2015 up to 2019, and of course, COVID happened. And now it's only that 2023, this is now when we are coming back.
Okay, James. In relation to that, what we've said, Kevin, I'd like you to capture on something. For the previous Kenya Strongest Man competitions, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, you are not doing an online qualifiers as this time. Why did you guys decide to go for online qualification?
Thank you very much for the question. I know everyone is asking the same question.
Yeah.
And this is, our comeback. Remember what happened after 2019, where we stopped was because of the COVID era. We had a couple of, probably 3 years, where we didn't do any activities. Now we're coming back. And coming back dictates that we follow the channels or the technology system that have been put in this field. Sports is actually moving from, just the normal traditional way of doing it, and now we're going online. So the online registration and the online show is actually just to, level up with the technology that is available.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if I may,
Yes.
if I may add, of course, we are looking to make Kenya's Strongest Man as accessible to as many people as possible. In the past, we used to do the regional qualifiers where we would go around the country, have these very exciting shows in these other towns. But the truth is, based on resources, we couldn't cover the entire country. So with the online qualifiers, it doesn't matter whether you're in Mandera, whether you're in Busia, whether we come or not, you can still do your shoot and enter the competition. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually understand the bit about online qualification. It a bit cuts down on the resources used in terms of going to the other counties. Yeah. And I can now remember on your previous interview, you had said that there's a time you're looking for sponsorship from the county governments. And I think so far you quoted you had received sponsorship from, was it Mombasa County? Yeah. What about on Nairobi County? Because as I understand, most athletes are based in Nairobi County and in places like in the Western region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I can tell you've done your homework because that must have been in 2016, 17, what you're talking about. Yeah. Of course, we've always been interested in working with the government, both central and county governments. And yes, we appreciate the support that we got, like in Mombasa, and even the kind of inroads we've made in Nairobi, where the sports is becoming more appreciated. Is it to say that nothing more can be done? Not really. There's so much room in terms of that partnership and the kind of support that we can get from the administration. Of course, in the case of Nairobi, we are looking at just a newly set up government. We know that the Minister of Sports is very interested in this kind of activities, having had a chit-chat with him on this. So we are hopeful. We believe that we'll get more support, especially in terms of just supporting the grassroots development of the sport. What we're looking for from the government is how do we equip the gyms at the grassroots level so that we have a wider stream of athletes coming into the main pipeline for strongman.
Okay, and then for the bit of the Ministry of Sport, because I think it's a good idea that is going to assist more athletes, do you guys intend to collaborate with the Ministry of Sport so that you come up with something like a federation, or how do you want the Ministry of Sport to chip in regards to this? Because I'm asking this in relation to, I understand for a sport like rugby, I saw there's a time they did partnership with the government. I think the former head of state, he gave them a bit of some slots so that you see there's a platform whereby some athletes, they were given slots in the forces.
Yeah.
So can this still apply to the strongman sport, assuming the government is going to chip in and assist?
Yeah.
So that some of the athletes can have slots maybe in the forces or in other jobs,
Sure.
even security.
That's a very good pointer. In terms of the federation, I mean, looking at where the landscape, where we've come from and where we are right now. Remember in 2015 when we did the first strongman event, Kenya Strongest Man competition, we only had 8 athletes. And these were hard to even come by. I mean, we had someone like a gentleman who probably had come to watch, but because he was there, he was like, we need to fill in the numbers, and he jumped in. So the sport was very nascent, so to speak, like very small. But now we are talking of over 400 going to 700 athletes within the space. And I believe this is the right time to now start engaging with regard to forming a federation. The federation will be very critical in helping us align with the government agenda right now, which is to create jobs and all that. But for us also as a private company, our interest is to see how do we empower athletes to be able to use their brands, to be able to use the sport to create brands and to create revenue streams that will also take them into the private sector. So I think we have to look at it as a two-winged thing, where we have how do we benefit from the public, but also how do we position ourselves to make the most as strong men in the private sector.
Okay, thank you for that. I think I'll still go to Kevin, and I'll have to throw 2 direct questions. Okay. So the first question is, how do you guys intend to market this strongman now that previously it had gone there for like 4 or 5 years, then COVID came, it stopped. So how do you intend to market, first of all, the sport to be done again, as it's a comeback? Number 2, now this one I'm raising the issue as an athlete. We undergo so many challenges during training, in terms of training hard, in terms of nutrition. But when you come to these events, at times you are faced by the issue about being paid very little money, some poor organization in the sports, some of the sports. So how do you intend to cap this for this Kenya Strongest Man, so that at least we could say for the previous events they were successful? How do you cap for this Kenya Strongest Man 2023 to be back to where it was or even better?
Thank you very much. When it comes to marketing, we have a tool, and we've sat down with the organizing committee, and we've realized right now the only way to go is social media. So our biggest tool right now is social media. We also have the word of mouth. But in social media, we use it more of TikTok. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and now we've opened a channel on YouTube where all the athletes will be registering, will be posting all their videos on YouTube. We'll talk about that more. James has a inbuild. But on marketing is very important. We're also looking to partner with key sponsors. We've reached out to a couple of big ones. We're hoping they'll come in and join us, because that will also elevate the sport to the next level. When it comes to athletes, we understand and we know the hustle and bustle you guys put up when you're, working out and preparing for an event. And I believe the time we've given you up to November, 4 months, a couple of you will use a couple of 100,000s. In the previous, competition that we've had, if you can recall, all the regionals, we've been given a total of 100,000 shillings on the men. That is a winner, the first runner-up, and the second runner-up. That is only on the qualifiers. That is on the gents and on the ladies' side. So coming to the finals, up to 2019, we had approximately, on the winner, given approximately 250,000 Kenyan shillings. 200 Kenyan shillings. That is on the winner. So we can comfortably say that this is the only sport so far, Kenya's Strongest Man, that has been able to reach to that height. 2023 is even going to be bigger. We're hoping and coming back with a big 1 million mark. And that is our dream, and that is our, what we want to give to the athletes, because we know and we understand. Most of us are actually athletes, so we understand the bustle that you guys put in. The gym fees are expensive nowadays, the supplements that you guys eat, the food itself, and the time also. So we want to compensate on that, hoping that we're going to bag one of the best sponsors in 2023. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, these are the sponsors of the Kenya Strongest Man competition, previously held in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. And I think due to COVID, the event was stopped, but the event is now back. It's going to be October on which date?
Actually, November 4th.
November 4th. There's an online qualification. You go and I think the first event is a deadlift max for the men and both for the ladies. The second event is a squat for reps. I think 200 kgs for men, 140 kgs for the ladies. And the third event was a deadlift haul. So check on the pages on Instagram, Kenya Strongest Man competition. TikTok is Kenya Strongest Man.
Yes, Strongest Man.
All our pages are Kenya Strongest Man.
Before we continue, James has to clarify on the bit whereby they are going to give the athletes 1 million.
All right, so I totally understand and appreciate what my partner has elaborated about the prize money and what the athletes go through and they put in. For us, we've always had the vision to really make this thing something that athletes can live off. So yes, we are proud of what we've done. Between 2017 and 2019, we guys had actually spent like 3 million shillings going to the athletes, 2016 to 2019. Yes, it's substantial, but we believe it can be more. And our dream is actually to one day get this sport where somebody will walk out with something, 1 million plus, that will really change their life and they can build a livelihood around their hobby and their passion. So that's our plan, and we believe one day we'll get there.
Straight away, I'm going again, go back to Kevin. So we've seen I've checked on a number of events that are being held in Kenya by different organizers. The likes of Uzani, the likes of Kamukunji, very good events. So these events, most of the time when they happen, we find athletes coming to compete from outside. Is that the plan for Kenya Strongest Man? Is it an open competition? Is it limited to Kenyans?
Well, there's a reason why it's called Kenya Strongest Man. Kenya Strongest Man is only for Kenyans. It's open for the Kenyans right now. But our dream, as we had said previously, it is to go to East Africa. We have a dream to go to East Africa, to even go to the larger Africa. We already have some plans in the pipeline where we're talking to guys in Uganda, in Tanzania, and all the way in Western Africa. So very soon we will have an East Africa kind of a meet where we have the champion here in Kenya meeting with the champion in Uganda. So we want for them to remain in their own homes, to qualify in their own homes for a bigger, grand East Africa meetup. So currently the Kenya Strongest Man is only open for the Kenyans, but at the same time we will not be limiting. Any Ugandan who is in Kenya legally can come in and join in.
Yeah, okay, I think that's a very good question, very good clarification. And maybe another concern that is a bit off the topic or of good concern in relation to the athletes. So we like to know, personally as an athlete, and I check on the events, when we participate in these strongman competitions, there are usually some events that are usually very engaging. Because when I check on the previous Kenya Strongest Man competition, there's something like was it the track, the car pull? You pull the car and then you push it back. There are some events that are usually, so they engage the audience, or the audience can relate to the event as compared to others. Do you plan to bring the same events? Do you plan to bring different events? Or how do you plan to go about the events that are going to happen in the main competition?
One thing I love about Strongman is that the activities are endless. And it's beautiful because unlike weightlifting and powerlifting, nothing against them, like they're awesome sports. But in Strongman, you get to lift things that are relatable to even a child. Like when they see you pulling this big truck, it's exciting to anyone. They don't have to have very technical information about the sport to be able to enjoy it. So the list that we can draw from is so wide and huge. And as the sport grows, definitely we're going to introduce new activities. If you look at the log press, we introduced the log press in Kenya just in 2018. Yeah. 2019, we introduced the pillar of strength, which is the towers, in 2019. And it's an implement that is yet to be used again after that. And so slowly by slowly, we'll be introducing new activities, new events. And this year also, just be on the lookout. I mean, you're looking to bring some really exciting activities.
Indeed, this is going to be the best, one of the best events that has happened so far. Initially, it has been the best. We are hoping it's going to be more and more better. Maybe lastly, I'd like Kevin to tackle this question. Why is it that Strongman is not doing well as bodybuilding? Because bodybuilding is doing so well in terms of, I think in terms of even being known. But from my end, when I try to check on maybe on the fan base, not talking as a strongman, I think strongman should be having more fans, but the sport is not doing well.
Well, that is true, yeah, to one angle. But on the other angle, just remember we're 7 years old. The very first event, 2015, had only 8 athletes. And right now we're talking about...
I'll have to clarify, not Kenya's strongest man. I'm taking as a strongman as a sport in general in Kenya.
Well, what I'm saying is, it's a new sport in Kenya. Yeah. The very first event for strongman had only 8 athletes. So that tells you the very initial step that we took was actually a leap of faith. There were no athletes then that had actually prepped to do any strongman activity. The only thing close to that was the weightlifting. And none of the athletes from weightlifting actually afforded to come. We actually took the guys who were in the gyms doing crazy weights, who could not fit in the bodybuilding and in the strongman. Having seen the sport in the last 7 years grow to where it is right now, we can actually tell and we can actually say comfortably that we're just about to overtake the bodybuilding, that has been there for ages. Bodybuilding has had funding for a very long time, and that is one reason, the marketing has been big in Kenya especially, and all over, Africa. Bodybuilding has been there, but strongman being a new sport, especially in Kenya, and us just taking it step by step, will actually see us, beat, and that is our hope and dream.
Yeah.
That near future we'll be having almost 600 people registering for the strongman event in Kenya only. You hear we have almost 600 athletes so far who have already registered from 2015 to now. So if we can have all of them just come in and, we're going to make it big.
Okay, this is your time, guys. For those who are all over the country, please join the online qualification where you post the 3 events. They are posted you can go and check on the Instagram page. Please make sure you go and participate. Anybody who's lifting heavy in your gym, this is a chance for you to get some huge amount of money. This is Kenya's Strongest Man competition. For those of you who've never seen this competition, just go on YouTube and search Kenya's Strongest Man competition. You'll see the highlights of the event. Maybe the last question, what can you tell our viewers as we close?
I think what is very important for us right now is just to, realize that the closing date is just about to close. Our first event starts on the 9th of August. This will run for 3 weeks up to the 27th. So we are asking, if you haven't registered, kindly do so. We'll be closing the registration probably the next 7 days, so that we're able to prepare all the athletes, brief them on what is expected of them, train them on some use of some new application that we are introducing. So our call right now is that any person out there in all gyms who wants to participate in the Kenya Strongest Man competition, kindly register. Thank you.
For sure, it's been a minute. Can't wait to get together again to have the music pumping, the metals clanging, and just the Kenya Strongest Man atmosphere once again. So looking forward to seeing you guys in November at our stadium for the finals. But in the meantime, make sure you register. Make sure you have your athletes. If you're a strongman athlete, if you feel like you just want to test yourself against guys like Yuha, this is your chance. The online competition allows you to participate and measure yourself. You don't have to qualify, but just to measure yourself, where do you stand?
Right.
So please check out our pages, click on the link, register, and hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.
Yeah, I was almost closing, but I'm forgetting one thing. A number of athletes in the country have competed outside, the likes of Wamalwa, Magi Matolo. What is going to be, in relation to this Kenya Strongest Man competition, what is your program, what is your plan in relation to the judging? Because we know the judges have to meet the international standards. There has been cases whereby some judges are not competent enough to ref some of the events. So what is your program in relation to judging?
I mean, it's a learning curve. If you look at where we've come from and where we are right now, it's always been an upward trajectory. If we judge ourselves like fairly, of course, that there are areas of improvement, areas that can be improved. We are doing our best to equip our judges and also sourcing to see which other people we can work with, who else can come and just boost the team in terms of technical abilities, so that we can have the best and standard quality judging. So yeah, I mean, you can count on us to give it our best, to fish around, to just make sure that we have a very strong technical team to run the event.
Okay, thank you for your time. It has been nice doing an interview with one of the best Kenya Strongest Man competition organizers, founders, and sponsors, Kevin and James Mbuga. This is the story of a champion. Stay tuned, and please don't miss out on the qualifications, and please come and watch. Bye.